It is time for our third quarterfinal match featuring young Gren against MrDreeezzee, youngest in the tournament in young Gren against the aged MrDreeezzee. He is a mister, and again, not many people know about MrDreeezzee too much, and Gren says, hey, it doesn't mean he can't come and surprise someone.
Yeah, how about this? Youngest in the tournament versus oldest. Young Gren, 17 years old, MrDreeezzee, 37. Opposite ends of the spectrum coming together here for an intense matchup. Young Gren, obviously a well-known player in this community, has won a lot of tournaments in the past, was here for the GWC last year. Dreeezzee kind of unknown. No one knows what to expect from him.
Well, just a short time ago, we got an opportunity to learn about MrDreeezzee. They played their first game of the series. Guys, here's a look at the highlights. It was wild. It may have started as we expected. Young Gren scoring 2 goals in the first period, scoring another one early in the second to take a 3-zip lead. But Dreeezzee, almost the de facto Toronto Mans today, slowly climbed his way back into the game with 4 unanswered goals. Gren then down 4-3, taking 3 back-to-back penalties in the third. He looked like he kind of lost his composure. Arda, this game kind of had everything.
It had absolutely everything, but one thing you take away from this is the fact that MrDreeezzee can hang with one of the best in the world. And that, to me, will make for a compelling Game 2 and possibly Game 3.
Well, young Gren ties it up with 6 minutes left in overtime off the bar, and look at his reaction. Are you kidding me? He said, I should have beat you a bunch of times already. Then with just 16 seconds left in the extra frame, he gets his win, and Nasher, it was not an easy one. My guy had to sweat a little bit, young Gren. He may be the favorite in a lot of people's eyes. Again, as we've been saying, the competition here is closer than we saw a week ago.
Yeah, this just shows any game can go any way. We saw a lot of big saves there on young Gren. Towards the end of that game in overtime, 1 hit off the stick, 1 bounced wide. Couple good opportunities. He wasn't able to get it to go. MrDreeezzee going to have a chance to bounce back in this one.
Well, I see some of you in the chat asking, well, who exactly is MrDreeezzee? It's the perfect time to find out just a little bit more. He's new to the competitive NHL scene. This is his first year playing HUD, and I'd say it's been so far so good. Here's more on MrDreeezzee.
I'm Sean from Sudbury, Ontario. I'm definitely more of a defensive player. These guys that are here are just crazy with the way they protect the puck. And if I get some opportunities, I like to pass a lot, D-to-D one-timers. But I'm definitely not just sitting in the slot looking for that one cross-crease pass. I try to mix it up a little bit.
All right, you've been asking for it in the Twitch chat. Let's start Game 2 of the series between young Gren and MrDreeezzee.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, here at Season 2 of the NHL GWC Canadian Regional Finals, it is time for action. Young Gren, the most accomplished and decorated Chell competitor there is on the scene today, taking on MrDreeezzee. A fresh face on the scene. Definitely an age gap here. In fact, MrDreeezzee said, I feel like a babysitter here this weekend. But he might be sending his competitors home after some performances here against young Gren. Gren had this to say about MrDreeezzee. I don't know what to think. I've never played him before. It's very rare that someone like him would qualify for a tournament like this, but it is impressive that he is here. Second game underway. Young Gren winning the first one in overtime. They were 4-4 going into that extra frame. That is offside. Young Gren controlling the Tampa Bay Lightning. MrDreeezzee, the Detroit Red Wings, more so picked because of the colors and less because of his faithful Toronto Maple Leafs, already chosen by Josh Fearless earlier in the draft. MrDreeezzee, hold that thought just a second here as Gren is in the offensive zone with Sidney Crosby. Of course, we did mention this last week, a huge one-timer attempt at the hash marks. You will see a lot of names because this is hot mode in the regional draft. You will see a lot of your favorite players on different sweaters in this tournament.
Yeah, just looking at young Gren's lineup, his first line there, absolutely deadly. You can see him working right now. He's got Crosby, Line, and Aho together on one line with Doughty at the point. He's going to have booming shots from the point, wristers coming from front. Literally everything possible, young Gren is going to make it happen here.
One thing we noticed in game number 1 is that MrDreeezzee has maybe saying better than we expected defense, but defense definitely shined for MrDreeezzee in game 1.
Yeah, that was kind of what Gren was not expecting going into this matchup. Gren, obviously a very offensive-minded player, really is going to push and be aggressive and try to hold on to the puck. And the thing is, MrDreeezzee doesn't mind that. He's going to let him sit behind the net, let him circle around, and just play his game.
MrDreeezzee has been playing the NHL EA Sports video game series since the very first one, NHL Hockey, back in 1991.
And we can confirm that that is indeed before Gren was born, before I was born, even.
Stop with that. Enough of this, please. He also has an NHL connection, does MrDreeezzee, as he takes the puck into the offensive zone here with Damon Severson. Giordano from the point, a pad save there, made by young Gren's goaltender, the only Lightning player on his roster, Andrei Vasilevsky. Gary Roberts is a second, cause he scores! Hold that thought, young Gren is on the board, it's 1-0 with TJ Oshie.
Young Gren, that's his play right there. We're gonna see a lot of one-timers. He's gonna cut into the zone, use the L2, go backwards, try to open up some space, and that's how he scores his first goal. A great finish on the backhand. Goalie got caught a little out of position. Nice finish for Gren, and there is Papa Gren celebrating. Always here supporting young Gren in these tournaments.
Yes, his father Sylvan in attendance. Definitely proud of his son and his accomplishments. Of course, in 2018, made it all the way to the grand finals. A victor in the Toronto Maple Leafs Gaming League this season in the finals. At an NHL game in January in a suite at Scotiabank Arena just down the road from us right now. Was able to secure the victory there. The team that the Leafs played there was the Minnesota Wild. Well, young Gren said, hey, I'll take that tournament too. So he went to Minnesota at the Mall of America and secured that one as well. Gren is one of the few, as I like to call them, champs in the NHL club tournaments, winning 2 or more. Here is an opportunity for Dreeezzee, misses the net with that shot. As I mentioned, Dreeezzee has an NHL connection. He is second cousins with Gary Roberts. He would go to many Leafs games. Gary would leave tickets for him, and I did confirm that if Dreeezzee is able to make the grand finals in Vegas, he will leave tickets for Gary Roberts to attend. Here's Dreeezzee with the puck in the offensive zone with the Detroit Red Wings red. There's Hurdle. Hurdle to Giordano at the point. Winds up, won't get through. Domi with the block. Back into the neutral zone. The depleted defense core will have to bring in the third line. Hurdle to Panarin. Artemi Panarin to Pulock. To Nudivara in the offense, into the offensive zone, but can't get far. Here's Tierney. Passes it to McAvoy. McAvoy looking for the one-timer. That diving poke check used to effectiveness. Gren has the puck, still in the offensive zone. Dreeezzee able to collect it. Dreeezzee makes a lead pass to Carlson. Carlson leading the charge. Finds Pulock. Pulock at the face-off circle, spins back around towards the blue line. Nudivara with the shot. That will be a diving block as well. Nudivara poke checked off the puck. Gren will collect it. 3:40 left in the first period. Here's Pulock. Gren takes it back. There's Rasmus Dahlin. Dahlin back skating it into the neutral zone. We will see, for those watching this for the first time, we will see a lot of back skating. Take us why that's an effective strategy in NHL 19.
Yeah, so in NHL 19, obviously you're doing every single thing you can to build space, especially entering the zone. You can see right now, Dreeezzee does a great job of kind of clogging the blue line, not letting his opponent enter the zone. And that's kind of where the back skate's going to come in huge. They're able to get around and usually leads to a good either shot on net and a rebound, or you can kind of cross it across the middle and get a one-timer. And that's how young Gren, I would say, scores about 50% of his goals. You'll see a lot of them in this game.
Clock ticks away. It's 1-0 Gren.
First period in the books, and no surprise, just like game one, it is tighter than many expected. But young Gren got the early advantage, much to the pleasure of the Twitch crowd watching, rooting on their boy as well. He had a couple chances, but the defensive work of MrDreeezzee still proving to be too tough right now for Gren to fully break through.
Yeah, Dreeezzee's just not letting Gren really get set up. Like I said, we're going to see young Gren kind of circle around behind the back of the net, but right now it's all Dreeezzee just containing him. But what we really need to see is Dreeezzee make something happen on offense. He's had a lot of shot attempts from the point that aren't getting through. Young Gren playing some solid defense for himself.
Second period, let's go.
Gren made some changes on his fourth line going into game number 2. A couple of tweaks, adjustments to the lineup, putting in Carl Hagelin on his fourth line, taking out Louis Eriksson, being one example. Pinned up against the boards is there's Heiskanen for Dreeezzee. Patrick Kane back to Heiskanen. Over to Stamkos, big hit at the blue line. Line A has it for Gren. all the way to DReezzzee's goaltender, Devin Dubnyk.
Worth noting that young Gren, obviously considered an offensive powerhouse, decided to draft defenders a little bit early in this draft. He actually grabbed Drew Doughty at number 2. He knew he needed to work on his defense. He knew he wanted to go for those booming big hits, and we've seen him do a couple of those already this game.
We've seen Charlie McAvoy as a player in Europe and here in Canada with Gren as well, used very successfully. Gren was able to, a big opportunity there, was able to pick him up in the 9th round. As many competitors in the regional drafts opted to pick defensemen a little bit later in the draft as opposed to filling up their lines. But Gren mentioned that his strategy was really to go line by line to see who would be his best competitors as opposed to going for the highest overalls.
Right, yeah, we saw a lot of players decide to go highest overalls, and that left some open spots in their lineup a little bit weak. I know Josh Fearless ended up taking Niederreiter. He has him on his first line in 84 overall, whereas, you know, a lot of these guys, especially young Gren, he decided to balance it out a little bit more. So lines 1 through line 3 are pretty equal amongst themselves.
There's an opportunity for DReezzee, has Smith in the offensive zone, passes it to Nudivara and scores, tie game.
Wow, the shots from the point. DReezzee loves the shots from the point. We see it there from Nudivara. A nice clear screen. That's the one shot I think he's gotten through that young Gren hasn't able to block. What a good start for him to tie this game up 1-1.
DReezzee told us yesterday in the player interviews, I wasn't even going to try and qualify. I ended up beating 4 players I've never beaten before. Truly a Cinderella run to qualify for the 2019 NHL GWC. I felt relief once it was over. You can only imagine what he's feeling right now. Down 1-0 in the series, down 1-0 in the game, but proving that he can hang with the best in this game as he just tied it up here.
Absolutely, and he said even during his qualifier, he had to beat 3 guys in a row that he had not beaten all year. Young Gren, I would say he probably hasn't beaten as well, hasn't had the chance to play him. Now he's bouncing back, couple good opportunities, and he's back into this game.
Looking for the one-timer there was Gren. Just missing it. Still has the puck. Looking for Crosby between the hash marks. Couldn't find him. Here's Hurdle for MrDreeezzee. Hurdle has it at the red line. Brings it back. Skating around with it. Little bit of puck possession. Takes it all the way deep into the zone. Gets pinned up against the boards. But still ends up with it. Here's Smith. Back to the point to Heiskanen. Heiskanen to Carlson. And that will be, you will see that a lot too, that passing at the blue line and the shots from the blue line.
Yeah, a lot of those, you'll get a lot of opportunities to put them on net. They don't go in a ton, but if you're not able to get them blocked and there's a decent screen in front, there's a chance it goes in. We saw his first goal was just that, Nudivara burying it in that top right corner from the blue line.
Big pad save there by Vasilevsky for Gren. Gren in the meantime. Now looking on the offensive, here's Pettersson looking for that one-timer again, couldn't find it. Still behind the net in a dangerous area, but DReezzee able to collect it. DReezzee mentioned he wanted to focus on synergies in the draft. Speedster was off the table quick, so he focused on face-off master instead. He loaded up on clutch players later in the draft. That was a little bit of his strategy there. Gren has it in the offensive zone, looking for another one-timer attempt. He scores! Gren retakes the lead with Max Domi. It's 2-1.
There it is, the same play we saw in goal number 1. Gren able to just set up a beautiful one-timer. He circles around until he finds a space, and he doesn't take unnecessary shots. He shoots it when he knows it's going to go in. That was one right there. Great play by young Gren.
Young Gren has 17 NHL teams represented on his roster. Vasilevsky was drafted in the 14th round, the only player that plays on the natural team on the Tampa Bay Lightning. He doesn't have 3 players from a certain team, only 2. From the Avs, Jackets, Habs, Sens, Pens, Canucks, Caps, and Jets. 2 players each on Gren's roster will round it out. DReezzee looking to get back into this game with 3 minutes left in the second period. DReezzee also one of the rare competitors that picked 3 goaltenders on his roster. And an opportunity for Gren, and he will bury it 3-1. Just looking at the camera, yep, this is the Gren that we know.
We know young Gren's going to play with the cameras. Every time he scores a goal, he's going to look over, shrug his shoulders, make a face, do what he does best. And, of course, there he had a little 2-on-0, little defensive lapse there from DReezzee. And we know young Gren, whenever he gets a breakaway, whenever he gets a good chance, he's going to bury it.
From the Great Clips Lounge, you can see father very happy with the results so far. Was here last year as well, supporting his son. Minute 30 to go in the second period. Gren taking a 2-goal lead. Looking for some more before the end of the second period. A stutter step there behind the goal. Gets behind the goal line. Werenski to Doughty. Doughty back to Werenski. A save there by Devin Dubnyk. Will distribute it, but may be costly. Swats the puck away, does the goaltender, and clock will tick away. It's 3-1.
It was close for a little bit in that period, guys, but young Gren showing his skill set a little bit more over the end of that one to take a 3-1 lead. But we've seen this story before. In game one, he was up 3-0 before MrDreeezzee scored 4 straight. One more period for him to get himself back into this game and back into this series, where we have yet another semifinalist set. Third period action coming up right now.
MrDreeezzee needs 2 goals, Nasher, to get back into it. How's he going to do it?
Well, Dreeezzee says he's a very adaptive player, so he'll get used to Gren's kind of tendencies. He's been, taking mental notes here over the first 2 periods. I think he's just got to get more shots on net. He's had a couple good opportunities with the shot from Nudavara that went in. Other than that, I mean, really it's been all young Gren, all offense.
Little less of this, perhaps, to the counterattack. Look, the one-timer is always in play with young Gren. As you can see, that is maybe the 7th or 8th attempt at a one-timer that Gren has had in this game alone. Again, stripping Dreeezzee of the puck. Great dancing there, and Crosby is stopped at the doorstep. But that will be a delayed penalty here, and possibly an opportunity for Dreeezzee, as he will take advantage of the 6-on-5. Winds up and misses the net. Gren will touch the puck, and now 2 or less.
Yeah, young Gren got into some penalty trouble actually last game. That's what kind of resulted in that 3-goal comeback from MrDreeezzee. So maybe this penalty right here could be the start of something for Dreeezzee. He's got to win this draw, get something set up, and throw some pucks on net.
What can Dreeezzee do here? He has the puck as the power play is set up. Gren playing a little aggressive. To Carlson at the point. Carlson to the top of the faceoff circle. To Maroon! And a save there by Vasilevsky. Back to Carlson at the point. Back skates it towards the top of the circle. A shot, another save. Ryan collects the rebound. All the way back to the point. To Carlson, to Giordano! And a pad save again. Still 3-1. Gren holding on to this lead. Looking for a counterattack now while shorthanded. 18 seconds left in the power play. To Ryan. Ryan to Carlson. Carlson with the backhand. Here's Tierney for Gren. Gren brings it back. A 1-on-5 as he changes lines. There's Oshie. TJ Oshie. Tierney. A big hit behind the net. Hurdle for Dreeezzee. Dreeezzee in the neutral zone. The puck sails all the way back into his zone. A minute 40 or 11:45 left in the third. Carlson has it now for Dreeezzee. And that's offside.
Just look at the trap from Gren here. Dreeezzee doing everything he can to enter the zone. Gren just really cutting him off at the blue line. He's got 4 guys sitting at the blue line. Maybe you dump and chase it here. That really doesn't work too well in Shell either. I don't know. Dreeezzee just got to get something going.
He's able to set up in the offensive zone. He's getting some looks at the net, Nasher. It's just that maybe not as quality a chances as Gren is getting. At least at this juncture. But this might change here. Here's Stamkos. Stamkos to Giordano. To Severson, who brings it in, takes the shot. Another save by Vasilevsky. Nylander in hot pursuit, but it'll be Landeskog for young Gren, bringing it all the way into the offensive zone. Oh, he stays in the neutral zone. A little bit of dancing there. Here's Crosby now. Crosby brings it into the offensive zone, dances his way all the way to behind the goal line. Will lose the puck, and Stamkos brings it. 6:40 left in the third. dangling of his own is MrDreeezzee. Dreezy still needs 2 goals. A pass there to Carlson. Winds up for the shot. It won't make it through. Gren waiting for his skaters. Was looking for Domi on that pass. Couldn't find him. Here's Couturier. Lindell will intercept. Domi to Trouba. Trouba for young Gren. Bumped off the puck. 4:10 left in the third. Still 3-1. Dreeezzee going into his depth positions as his top lines are depleted of energy.
Yeah, we may need to see a timeout here. Yep, as we talk about it, it comes up. Dreeezzee's going to get a timeout here and reset the lines here. Obviously going to need full green energy, full green bars, and get his first line out on the ice for this last few minutes.
MrDreeezzee also with only 1 player of the sweater he's representing on his team. That would be Jimmy Howard, that he picked late in the draft just to make sure he had 1 Red Wings player on his team. 3:20 to go in the third. Gren intercepted by Patrick Kane for Dreeezzee. Passes it up to Stammer. The pass goes nowhere. Back into his own zone is Dreeezzee. A crucial final 2 minutes for Dreeezzee's tournament life. Here's Carlson to Nylander. Nylander, Kane will pick it up. Kane still has it. And that will be a power play with 1:13 to go in the game.
All right, here we go. Dreeezzee's chance to come back. We need to see a nice face-off win here. If he could get one early, obviously only 1:13 left. Gren's probably not going to make the mistake of getting another penalty in this time, so just got to stay composed, get one on the board.
He gets the puck, 56 seconds to go. Trying to set up, and that will be offside, an untimely offside for Dreeezzee.
Really, the difference in this game has been Gren's shot blocking ability, not a lot of shots getting in on net, and then his neutral zone play to prevent Dreeezzee from getting into the zone.
Face-off won by Dreeezzee or collected. Here's Panarin. Setting up the power play. Carlson to Giordano. Giordano with the shot doesn't make it through. Stamkos behind the net. 43 seconds to go. To Giordano at the point again. Giordano to Stamkos. Stamkos to Kane. It doesn't make it through. Vasilevsky makes the stop. Domi has it. Hornquist has it for Gren. He will exit the zone. And more precious seconds off the clock. 28 seconds to go in the game. Here comes Dreeezzee again. Dreeezzee makes the pass to Ryan. To Carlson. The puck is loose. And Gren swats it away. 17 seconds to go. Gren with the offensive opportunity now. Hagelin misses the one-timer. 10 seconds. Here's Maroon. Maroon dangling through. Great attempt there. A shot. A pad saved by Vasilevsky. And that will be it. Gren moves on in this tournament.
In the end, it was young over Mr. I don't want to call him old. Arda will get mad if I start doing that. But certainly a lot of respect gained for MrDreeezzee, who showed that he belonged in this tournament while many came in without knowledge of maybe who he was. He certainly made some fans this weekend, including an NHL player. We'll get to that. But right now, it is young Gren securing a spot in the semifinal. He is just a series win away now from returning to Vegas as we take a look at our Canadian Regional Final bracket right now. The top is set. The bottom is getting some clarity. Young Gren moving on 2-0 over MrDreeezzee. Josh Fearless, GWC up next, Nasher.
Yeah, these matchups really coming together here, and there's a chance that we have the dream rivalry coming together here. Young Gren versus Josh Fearless. These guys have gone clashing head-to-head online over the last few years. There's a chance they meet here. We'll see how Josh Fearless does.
A lot of people in the chat acknowledging and respecting MrDreeezzee again. Out of nowhere, qualified for this, said he didn't really know if he was going to. Inspired JT Brown to write in the chat that he's going to try to qualify, make his own Cinderella run a year from now. So we'll see.
Shout out to JT Brown. What's up? Thanks for watching.
We'll see if he actually comes through. Let's take a look at highlights from this match as well, because again, the score may have been a certain way, but it was a lot closer, at least early as well. Gren, Dreeezzee, a close game one, went to overtime. It was Gren early, Nasher, with the bulk of the chances before finally breaking through.
Yeah, this is just what young Gren does best. He uses the L2, uses his ability to enter the zone cleanly to set up these one-timer plays. We see a beautiful backhand there, but MrDreeezzee didn't give up. He wasn't done yet.
No, MrDreeezzee really showed some promise here in this tournament. We had a similar situation in Europe with Ailung, right? Ailung did not score a goal. I'm not taking anything away from Ailung's ability. I'm just saying he didn't score a goal in the tournament at all. Here, MrDreeezzee pushed young Gren to the limit in game number 1. Took him all the way to overtime and scored 4 goals against, if not the best, one of the top 3 best child players out there, the most decorated, I should say, right? So that is a formidable feat to begin with. As you're looking here, though, at the end of the day, young Gren just knows how to win, Paisley.
And he knows how to play for the cameras as well. A little look after going up 3-1. His team is moving on. Any indication based on gameplay so far, Nasher, to suggest he's still the favorite? He's still the favorite in your eyes right now, or no?
Oh, absolutely. Young Gren, he's playing his game. I would say Dreeezzee, probably one of the most surprising defensive players in this game, which that kind of suits well against young Gren's style. I think if young Gren plays against another offensive guy, it'll just be a dominating game for him.
And we know Dreeezzee went early with his goalie pick, Dubnyk, amongst the best ones in the game. Came through, helped him out a little bit. Couldn't get enough offense in that second game to get him through. So young Gren is moving on. We have one more quarterfinal matchup to get to. While that game is getting set up, here's a quick word